The papyrus, put it on my table every month. I don't wanna miss it. Don't even try to hide it. No, I don't wanna lose it. And you see how it is, it's so inviting. The papyrus, we're all so online. The papyrus, put it on my.
Hello, welcome to the Papyrus TV Africa. My name is Dofan Abu Amali. And today I am here with one of the House of Representative member from Plateau State. Someone you're going to meet very soon. He's very handsome. Take note, he's married. So stay away, yes. I'll be speaking shortly with Honorable Alphonsus Longgap. He is a member representing Mikang, Qua'an and Shendam Federal Constituency of Plateau State. Yes, he's not just one of those honorable members that represent just one local government, 3 local governments in one. So come with me, let's know how he has been faring, and we will be talking about Nigerian problem that Nigeria is in. Nigeria has never been in this particular spot that it is right now since I was born. I'm an 80 child, so I might be wrong. But we'll talk with the honorable members, and maybe we'll have some solace and some hope oozing up from him. So, Honorable, can we meet you?
Let me correct the name you just mentioned now. My name is Honorable Komsol Longgap Alphonsus.
Okay.
I represent the people of Shendam, Mikang Federal Constituency, as you rightly said, and I'm from Plateau State.
Okay. Can you take us through your educational background?
Well, I grew up in a village. It was not easy for us to go to school. We trek from like 5 kilometers to my primary school. And it was difficult for us to even get a shoe to wear. I think it was the same story with former President Jonathan, that it was not easy for us to even wear shoes. But to God be the glory, we were able to make it up. We went to primary school. From the primary school, as I said, it was a distance. And we go like 5 kilometers every day and come back. But with the glory, we were able to complete our primary school and get into the secondary school. But when I completed my primary school, at that time in 1978, you might not know, there was something called prop teachers. Teachers that came up from class 6 or class 7, because we were the last set of class 6 and 7 that came out. So we were employed to go and teach in junior 1 in the school, and we had an induction course for 2 months. And we were all posted to various primary schools in different villages. But fortunately for me, it was that time you must have to sit for a common entrance. You must have to pass common entrance and go for an interview. Pass the common entrance. And I was called for an interview, and I went for the interview. Then I passed the interview. Then I was given admission into government college station.
Wow.
That was how I left the teaching appointment and went to secondary school. And I was there in 1979. I went to secondary school in 1979. Completed in 1983. From there, I got back home.
I was just 1 year old, 1983. But you don't look that old, you know.
So I got back home, and my uncle, Honorable A.N. Gapsu, who was also a former member House of Representatives, at that time he represented Shendam in the House of Representatives in Lagos at that time, in 1979 to 1983. So we got back, and at that time the military man came in and took over, and it was the president of this country, Buhari, was the one that took over the administration. And he came back, we started doing business with him. We were supplying food to prisons, and that was what I was doing. And we bought some tractors and then went back to farm. So we were farming. At the end of the day, we went into politics, and I became a councillor in 1983. And from there, I became, when the PDP came in, I became an ex-official at that time. That was in 1999, and subsequently I became the state organizing secretary of PGP. That's how we were in politics. And I became board chairman, Tourism Corporation. I was a member of Governing Council, College of Education, Industry, and so many appointments. There, even in 1993, during SDP, I was the director of organization, the SDP headquarters. That time we were together with Nasarawa State Plateau. So we've been politicking for quite a long time.
Wow.
And at the end of the day, went back to school again, graduated with a BSc in public administration. So it has been up and down, and we thank God we've been doing well in politics and doing well in my hobby, that's farming. Farming very well.
You're still farming now?
Very well. So that has been life with us. To God be the glory. When I came into Contest House of Reps, I came into Contest House of Reps, I was not an elected or appointed, but I was doing on my own. I was on my own, doing my farming. Maybe because of my engagement with the grassroots, because of what I've been doing to the grassroots, I got elected. And here am I today in the House of Representatives. That's why my slogan is Ogaraga Allah, I depend on God. It's only God that gives power at his own time and at his will. So I'm here by the grace of God.
That's good.
That's me.
So you are in the House of Reps. You have been in politics all your life. There's expectation that people have for lawmakers that at times is not even reasonable, because you're supposed to be making laws and you're not an executive. You're not supposed to be bringing infrastructure. How have you been able to deal with that particular area with your constituents?
That's why they call on the developing countries. We are not yet mature to play the kind of politics that the developed countries are playing. If you say you are coming here just to make laws, when you get back home, they will throw stones at you. They will even send you out of the place. When you look at it, if you look at most, especially within our grassroots and the rural areas, you look at most of the projects are from the National Assembly members. Because you can't go to a constituency and get a construction of 20 million, 30 million that has been constructed by the executive. Because the executive are being faced with the major contracts. And we are the one that identify the needs of our people at the grassroots. So if you don't do that, what will you come back to tell them? You must have to combine the lawmaking and then bring them back the evidence of democracy to our people. That's why we are combining it. You can't just do without that. Thank God, by the understanding of the National Assembly and the Executive, we have something called Constituency Projects. And this Constituency Project and the zonal projects are the one that is sustaining the National Assembly members and legislators. By so identifying the projects, the power to execute the project is in the hands of the executive. We only identify projects and we take it to the executive. Yes, they bring it back to approving the project, but we are not the one executing it. We only identify. Oh yes, we know the terrain of our people, we know what they want.
You know their needs.
We know their needs. So you must have to combine the two.
And that is what people misunderstand by saying that you've collected money for constituency project. You just put them in the budget and ensure that it's executed in your own constituency to better your people.
Very well. When you see, I can speak for myself. I cannot speak for other members, but I can speak for myself. If you take a look and go around my constituency, and then you come back and quantify it with what is being put in the budget, you will justify whether I am eating the money or not. But when you get to my constituency, for the year I came in, I inherited the budget of 2019. And 2020, I was the one that initiated the budget. And by the grace of God, the budget, what I have in my constituency was up to ₦1 billion. So when you get to my constituency, you find out that I was able to construct about 22 classrooms.
as a new member,
yes.
Being a new member here, you have to understand the politics here before you can be able to achieve that.
I constructed 22 classrooms well furnished with all the furnitures. I constructed another 2 ICT centers, well equipped with all the computers, generators, and whatever. And I was able to bring 325 solar street lights to put all over across the place. And again, I have constructed about 2 kilometer roads completed, and it's been put to use. I have motorized borehole cut across the 3 local government, about 11 motorized borehole. I have 33 hand pump boreholes. And so many of it, if you look at, I am even planning to go and distribute 6 trucks of fertilizer to my people. Last year I did the same.
And I said you're going to give me that fertilizer too. I was here yesterday.
Yes, when I came in, I took it upon me to be paying for jam for my people, for the less privileged in my constituency. Because some of them are well educated. They cannot afford to pay for those common jam. Last year I did, and this year I also paid for them. So we've been working together. We have so many floods, disasters, and what have you. We have been trying our best to make sure we get some relief materials to go and give it to our people. I've been doing it, and I think I have done it more than 2 times when I came in. So these are some of the things that we've been doing with our people.
That's okay. So, Nigeria. Nigeria is going through one of the toughest times ever. We're talking about banditry, we're talking about the economy being very bad, people are hungry, we're talking about Boko Haram, we're talking about Fulani herdsmen crisis, we're talking about Oduduwa declaring their own kingdom, Biafra declaring theirs, and what have you not. What do you think is the role of a legislator, and what do you think the executive should be doing right now to douse the situation instead of putting fire?
Well, I can't excuse you because I don't know what happened in Nigeria of the past times, the 60s and whatever.
No, I wasn't here.
So you weren't here. You would have known that it was one of the toughest times Nigeria went through.
Wow.
Because it's not easy to have a war and then you come out of it.
Yeah.
And a civil war, normally, sometimes it gets to break out the country. But by the grace of God, we were able to come together in Nigeria again. Definitely, talk about insecurity is all over the world. It's not only in Nigeria. But definitely, we are going through a lot of hell in terms of insecurity. But the issue of insecurity is a lot of agitations. People are giving agitations on political grounds. They are giving agitations on resources control and what have you. In this country, we, in one way or the other, we pay back to one another. Because in the 60s, it was the northern Nigeria that was sustaining the country entirely on the groundnut pyramids and what have you. Then it turns out to be the oil now. And you could look, you could see in Nigeria there are so many mineral resources now all over the country. So agitations and what have you all gear up towards political power. And we're talking about 2023. We hear these agitations here, you hear this here, coming here, and what have you. It's all about power. And when you look at it, things like insurgent and what have you, it bounces back to international resource control. Yes, because some of these things that's happening, you look at it, some of the countries are even contributing towards the insecurity of this country. So definitely it's a global issues that in terms of insecurity. But for me, from what I understand with the present administration under President Buhari, has tried a lot. You could understand that before we came into power, you have not been going to church or mosques. Everywhere was bombing left, right, and center. And now, when we came in, we were able to have control of all these ones.
But it has given birth to many more.
Of course. The most important thing is that You are doing your business. You are running up and down to meet one or two things to take care of your siblings. But before, you will not even go to market because you are anticipating something will come up. Then, when we came in, we were able to push them back. We have been first with them where we know they are there now. And by doing that, by the grace of God, fighting insurgents, this kind of war, is not a war that you see this person and coming to fight with him. Sometimes you use intelligence to fight them. By the grace of God, I think before the end of this administration, you will see a significant improvement of security in this country. The legislators, as you said, that is why we are collaborating together with the executive. People tend to look at us as rubber stamp. We cannot be rubber stamp, and we cannot be antagonizing the executive at this point in time. We have so many issues in our hands. So we must definitely work together. We must definitely find a solution towards what is really disturbing our people. The first thing that you do when you are being sworn in is to protect the life and property of the citizens. So that's the most important thing that we are doing. I'm not rubber stamp. Now they are bringing a supplementary budget. Don't get on towards insecurity. So we are working together to see how we can be able to overcome the insecurity in this country.
Okay. You talked about Nigerian issue, agitation being about political power and then resource power. My question would be that, do you think that if maybe there is a rotational plan on ground for power to move from all these to political zones of Nigeria, maybe it would be able to give some Nigeria some inclusiveness in the running of the government, and maybe that could douse down some of the tension that we are having?
And first and foremost, let me tell you, politics is a game of numbers. That's one thing you must have to understand. Yes, by the understanding of the political structure in this country, it's understandable that we are going on with the issue of rotational presidency. Now, by my understanding, people are agitating for presidency to go to the south. It's not our duty to say it has to come from this tribe or whatever. We already agree that it should come from south and north. So if we come from south, maybe those people who are dominant in the population and what have you, they might be able to dominate.
Okay, that is what we are saying. So for us to carry people along, we understand that particular status quo. However, my question is, would you be better if we said, okay, the southwest has taken, can you go to south-south this time? Can you go to southwest this time? Can you come to north-central? I'm going to northeast and northwest. Like that, people will feel carried along. Let me tell you something. I happen to serve as a counselor in my place, and I understood that we have plans, that when this thing comes, it was shared like that, and we'll have peace. So I'm just asking that, do you think that if we have that kind of plan in place at the national level, it will go a long way to give some people, even no matter how small they are in number, it will give them some kind of inclusiveness in the country, and it can down this particular issue?
For me, we are not in support, an advocate of zoning, rotation, or what have you. That's why we are not progressing.
Okay.
Why are we talking about going to my zone, going to the other zone? It's because of what we do. For instance, if the president comes from my side, we lopside appointments, we give family background, excuse me, and we try to do a lot of development in that area. That's why everybody is agitating. But if we are fair to everybody, as today I'm the president, I'm fair to everybody. Whatever is due for you, I make sure it gets to that place. I think we must have to look for competent people who are competent that can handle this country. You could see what is happening. Everybody is agitating. Of course, I agree with you that the other side too will want to have it. Because if you look at it, the development goes to another place, the appointment goes to where the Mr. President is coming from. So my own is to discourage that kind of nepotism and that kind of a thing. So so that we can be able to have a central and competent person that can handle this country. If we continue to agitate for that, I think we'll continue to go backward and backward. Well,
and then we will be having the device line
all the time, because now, okay, let it go to the south, and the southeast are agitating for it, and they want it. They want the presidency to go there. Yes, of course, they should agitate for it. Because when it gets to the southwest, a lot of southwest people have been patronized. A lot of development were in the southwest. When it came back to south-south, a lot of people were patronized in the south-south. Everybody was living flamboyantly and what have you.
That's true.
So it has gone back to the north and to the northwest. So the southeast are also trying to get it so that they can also have their own part of it too. So we are only looking at sharing of the cake, trying to get the good part of what is there. But that is not what is expected of us.
So what are you advocating for?
Me, I'm advocating for competent, for somebody that have the will and his opinion in respect of bringing everybody together. So that let us have one Nigeria. We're not talking about one Nigeria, we're not talking about regions, we're not talking about segment, we're not talking about tribal differences. You understand? Now I am a member of House of Reps. I represent the 3 local governments. I try as much as possible, yes, I'm a human being, but certain things I try as much as possible to make equitable distribution of the projects I have. Even if it comes to the issue of employment, I try as much as possible to make sure it's equitably distributed. Because we are all one. We are being asked to go and represent them, not even to represent your tribe, your local government, or your family. I will tell you vividly now that I have 4 of my kids who are graduates. They have not been employed. But I've employed more than 56 people. Because I look at others, their needs are even worse than the needs of my children. So I try to sacrifice. So if you look at it, we do all these things like that, we do this. Nobody will be even agitated that this man does not come from my side, let my own come. That's just the problem.
I understand. I think that's good.
Yes.
So now, your governor, how would you describe your governor?
My governor is very, you know, I used to tell a lot of people his humility has given him what he wants in this country. Humility, very calm, is somebody who does not want to hurt a fly. Sometimes I used to tell him, I said, Mr. Man, you are a governor. The moment you are being sworn in today as a governor, you are a wicked man. Because today there will be, maybe there will be a judgment for execution of your brother. You are a governor, you must sign the execution.
Yes.
Because you are not signing it because of yourself, but on behalf of the people of your state. But he does not want to harm, even hurt a fly. You understand? His humility is excellent. And you could see when he came in, because of his humility, he was able to achieve the peaceful coexistence of the plateau.
Peace is something that
Yes,
you cannot take away from him.
Yes, he has gotten peace on the plateau, that we can move in the plateau now, and then you can go 24 hours in town in Jos. Though you cannot say there are pockets of problems left, right, and center, but you can't avoid it. Even in America or in Britain, UK, and whatever, there is there. So you cannot get it 100%. The world is changing. So many things happen. But give it to him, he has achieved over 80-something% security, peace.
Okay, it seems that Nigerian youths are very impatient with government now because they have been patient all this while. That's why you see even there have been restiveness even in town. What advice do you have for the youth of Nigeria? And then let's zero down to your 3 local government, Mikang, Qua'an, and Shendam. What advice do you have for them?
Well, sometimes I try to find time to sit and talk to them. When you look at it, basically, it's not their fault. They say an idle man is a devil workshop. So what do you expect from them? Somebody will go and spend the whole of his time in school, in school and graduated, went to NYC, and you know, the parents that have been running up and down trying to pay their school fees, at the end of the day, he comes back again to be a liability in the house. So it makes him feel very uncomfortable. But as a dad, we've been talking to them, whatever, God has a plan for everybody. And there is a saying in Hausa, they say, what patience cannot give you, impatience cannot give you. So whatever you do, you just have to be a little bit patient and pray to God. God will find a way for everybody. And I used to advise them, we should also look inwards. White collar jobs are coming in. We should try as much as possible to do one or two things to get ourselves busy, so that we can sustain ourselves on our own. Like me, I've never worked in government. I've never been employed in government. I have been on my own from day one. I got married when I didn't have anything. I got married to my wife. I have 5 children. All of them are graduates. My daughter got married. She has 2 kids. So
you're a grandfather?
I am a grandfather. So I have never been in government. Apart from being in council, that's where I got to say yes, I would refuse salary. But I've never been anything.
And now? I'm here today. So I always encourage them to look inward, to see the kind of how we also came up on board to where we are today. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
The papyrus, put it on my table every month. I don't wanna miss